So this is our earlymobility.com booth where we are showing you how to actually wake a patient up, mobilize them from the earliest days in ICU safely and efficiently, ICU all the way through and across to our med surg and even into the outpatient space. So earlymobility.com is a company we consult. We help you with program support, with implementation. We help you get the outcomes in your facility with your early mobility program. But we need to have the right portfolio of equipment solutions. So what you see in the booth today are what we consider a lot of the best-in-class products that are going to help us get you to safe, early, and continuous mobilization all the way across the continuum of care. So we're going to start with a case study here. Our case scenario is Tim. He's in a RASS of -3 right now. Tim is 6'3", 350 pounds. He had aspiration pneumonia and has been sedated for about 8 days. They've been trying multiple SATs and he's come out swinging every time. He's a big, strong guy, and so they've resedated him. Our best practice for ICU is to wake the patient up right after intubation. So our recommendation is awake and walking ICU where we don't sedate unless absolutely necessary. In this case, he's been sedated, he's already weak. The other thing I want to share with you is we're going to show some of the features of all these products with our partner equipment companies. There's no time for us to show you everything that these equipment options or these features can do. So we do have a QR code over here with all of our vendor partners listed. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to links for each of the companies where you can go and see all the features, because this equipment has even more applicability than what we're going to be able to show you here. So we're going to wake Tim up. On his arms here, you'll see refraints. This is by the HD Medical Company, and this is an alternative to the traditional restraints that we have. On this side, you'll see that we have him strapped down by a rigid band to the bed. The strap on this refraint is adjustable around his wrist so that if he gets swollen, the strap will adjust with him so we don't get that tight swollen wrist. And it's got a line management system through Velcro here, very easy to put the IV lines in so they don't get tangled up. These will hold up to 9 lines. You can also put the nurse call through here. He's got a little therapy in here, so as he lets his hand loose there a little bit, this gives him something to squeeze if he gets anxious and something to do with his hands. The other thing you'll notice here is that we can titrate the amount of movement with the refraint. So right now it is a restraint. As we go to wake Tim up, we're not sure how he's going to come out. We're just going to give him his tube back in. As we wake him up, we're not quite sure how he's going to come out. So we're going to start with the restraint on here. We're going to wake him up. So we've switched off the sedation. He's going to come out and we don't know how he's going to come out. So we're going to just be ready. We're going to try and mobilize him and orient him without resedating him. That is the goal today. All right, so Tim is woken up. He's a little bit unsure. He's pretty weak, but he's reaching with his arms. He's able to move all the joints in his arm, but he's not able to pull out that tube. So he's probably going to go for that tube as soon as he wakes up, but he's not able to extubate. Tim, hi, I'm Margaret. We're waking you up today. Yes, you have these plastic things on your arms, and you've got that little thing you can squeeze. We're going to try and wake you up and get you moving, Tim. The reason you have these on is there's a really strong urge to pull this tube out, right? It's pretty uncomfortable. It will get easier to deal with, and the more we can get you moving, the sooner we can get your tube out and get you moving and up on your feet again. All right, you're pretty weak. You've been in a coma for a long time. Do you see your family over here? Heather, come on in, right? We're going to include family to try and orient you so that you can remember who your loved ones are. All right, they've been here with you, they'll be here with throughout this. So this allows us, he's doing pretty well. I can take the restraint off, and now it is a restraint. It is no longer a restraint. It does have an elastic band here that I can also do resistance exercise. The numbers on here can let me grade that exercise. On the other side, you can move pretty freely here. You can itch your own nose, right? If it gets itchy. So much better option. We're also going to stand him up. So this is now the VitalGo bed. We're going to use upright verticalization therapy and weight bearing to normalize his brain inputs. So go ahead. This is a VitalGo product. And again, you'll see VitalGo on our list of equipment companies. Right now, Tim is at about 45 degrees. So this is a pretty good upright position. The diaphragm is going to drop down. This should make it a little bit easier for you to breathe. It's going to make your bladder work better. It's going to help your legs as well. The straps on here are going to prevent buckling. So even the earliest day, we can do this even before he wakes up. Go ahead and just feel that movement, Tim. Feel you can't fall. Go ahead and try and fall a little bit, right? He's not able to fall. I don't have to do any lifting. I don't have to be in front of him. The bed does the lift and the verticalization. And what Tim gets from it is just feeling more normal, more upright. How are you doing? You okay? We can get you something for pain, something for anxiety, but our goal is not to use propofol or Versed, not to sedate him again. We're going to use mobility to do that. This bed will go all the way up into a full stand. Let's bring it all the way up. And we're going to make sure we have long enough tubing, a portable ventilator. Make sure our IV tubing is long enough. You can move your arms if you want to, Tim. I know you're pretty weak here, right? Yep. But we can bring all the way up. This will go down all the way to the floor. Stop for a second. All right. So we could walk right off the bed here. Obviously, we're not going to do that today. We just woke up. Obviously, we're not going to do that today. We just woke up. So, but these are the kinds of activities that the VitalGo bed will allow you to do. Yep, come on in, Heather, and give him a hug. There's nothing better than to be able to have that touch from a family member in an upright position. It's about humanizing that ICU experience. All right, let's come on back down again. We're also going to show you the chair position of the bed, which is a great way for your nurses to mobilize your patient when you're not there. Yep. So we can chart the angle of the bed. We can chart the weight bearing on the foot board. It has a biofeedback scale right on the footboard. The footboard will move in, and it will also remember how tall Tim is. So it will automatically remember this position and reposition him in bed. All right, so we're going to take the straps off. We'll just bring him over to this side. I'll just tuck him in. And let's put it in chair position. And again, you could use these restraints in an out-of-bed chair as well, which you cannot do with regular restraints. Bring the foot plate in a little bit. So you'll notice the foot plate is coming in. This way it stops him from sliding down. And Tim, you can kind of push yourself up a little bit if you're able there. There you go. Good. Okay. Super. And let's pull him in a chair position. Now he's no longer disoriented. He's no longer at risk of pulling his ET tube out. So we're going to take the restraints off, and we're going to put a slide sheet in, even in this chair position, so that he can start doing some exercises. take this off. Want to leave his IV on. Good here, Tim? We'll just keep this here. And we can edit some of this stuff out on the final video. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a slide sheet. This is the Patron slide sheet. So you'll see Patron up here also. Patron is a single patient use slide sheet. It's multi-directional. They come in 3 colors. This is the bariatric one. And it will go up and down and side to side. So actually we could have kept him in chair position. Yep. That's okay. We're going to put it under. It's very easy to put under. Okay, you pull it out, Susan. And this is going to allow him to move around without friction on his bottom. So any skin issues we don't have to worry about. Let's bring the head of the bed up a little bit. So even in chair position, we could have done this in standing as well and done mini squats. But in here, yep, go ahead and push up and down. That's good. And all I need to do is say press on this footboard and he's offloading his bottom. He's strengthening his legs. They're getting a little bit stronger right now. He can go side to side. So even the earliest of days, we can start to do a little bit of exercise here. All right, let's go back down again. The Patron has over 100 uses, as you'll see a little bit later. Anytime we want to reduce or eliminate friction, the Patron is a great way to do that. So we'll just leave it under for now because we're going to be taking it out later. Yes. So now what we're going to do, we're going to say he is, you'll probably still have your IV. We've now been able to extubate him. He's still very weak. He's no longer needing restrained. He's no longer delirious, no longer confused, but he's pretty weak. So what we're now going to move to is the Alpha Modalities repositioning sling. This is one of our favorite repositioning slings on the market. It is antimicrobial, it is moisture wicking, and it is breathable. So this can be left on the bed as your sheet. And I wish every ICU bed would be made up with this as the sheet. It also has elastic around the corners. So it's like an elastic fitted sheet and it does not wrinkle. The last thing that we like about this is the straps here that attach to the lift. There's a recoil to them so they don't hit the floor, but they give you the length to be able to turn the patient. You can use the repositioning sling to boost up in bed, to turn, to lift, to change the sheets under the patient, or to clean the patient because this is their sheet, to put him on a different bed. If I were using a full body lift, I would have the 4 points on the easy lift here. So this is the Easy Way 1,000 pound floor-based lift. It has it's the tallest lift on the market in terms of full body lifts. It measures the use, so it'll tell you how long it's been used for, and it is 1,000 pounds. It also has the option of 2-point or 4-point hanger bar. It will go all the way up to a 6'8" patient. All right. Right now, we're just using it to help turn our patient. So for our patient who is 350 pounds, 6'3", we would normally be having to reach over like this to try and turn him. We'd be bending his knee up or turning his foot, bringing his arm. But even then, as a therapist, this is really, really hard for us to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a repositioning sling just to lift him enough. Let's bring him up to where I can start to initiate a turn, or where he can start to initiate a turn. All right, stop right there. And from here, can you roll over? Yep, and back. And again, come on over and back. I could have him do 100 of these because I don't have to be leaning over. If I want to make it more easy, I can raise this up a little bit and he only needs to come a little bit. If I want to make it harder, I'm going to lower the lift, and then he has to go through more of his range. So just because the equipment is called a dependent lift doesn't mean it's dependent. It's how we use it that will determine if it's active, if it's resistive, or if it's a dependent lift. All right, so now we've worked with Tim. He's a little bit stronger. If I wanted to work on supine to sitting or sitting up, I could attach both the shoulder straps, leave this on, and just help pick him up from the shoulders. But we've worked on that. He's a little bit stronger. We're going to bring the head of the bed up, and we're going to start on out of bed mobility. So you'll notice here he has this purple and blue sling on. This is the Mobility Coach Pro from Inspire Outcomes. It is a one-size-fits-all mobility harness. We put it on at the beginning of the scenario just to save time, but you can also put this on in supine. It's totally wipeable, and it will work from pediatrics all the way up to 400 pounds. Or if you want to have two together, it will go all the way up to 700 pounds. So let's bring in the powered stand aid. Tim's legs are still pretty weak. Go ahead and sit yourself up and over the bed, Tim. And at this point, we're going to bring the IV pole over maybe. That's it. We'll edit that part. We're going to bring the IV pole over to the easy stand, because one of the nice features about this is it has an IV holder. So we can then keep his IV with us as we go. We don't need to pull the IV pole with us. For the purposes of the rest of the presentation, we're going to say his IV has come out, but he's still pretty weak. So he may still have an IV in which case we would manage it with the IV pole. But for the purposes of the demonstration, we're going to progress him beyond that. This is the Easy Way Smart Stand Aid. It is a powered device, so we are going to use the sling to lift him up. The foot plate removes very easily. So we're going to actually use it to ambulate him. We could keep it as a weight bearing if he wasn't able yet, but for now he's able to do a little bit more than that. All right, Tim, I'm going to bring this sling up. Yep, come to the edge. And we're going to bring this through. All right, can you hold this for me? Can you get it in there, Tim? You're going to go around and then floss that through that. Yep, there you go. Okay, thank you. Same on this side. You okay? Is the harness all right? Yeah. Okay, we're coming up and through. We'll bring his catheter with us. So instead of me having to try and lift him up myself, I'm going to only have the lift do as much as Tim cannot do. So let's start to bring it up. Tim, I want you to push your hands through here. Yep. So we will get to these if we need to, but yep, go ahead and push up. Now beat the machine. Beat the machine. Good. Come on up a little bit more. We want this to be as active as possible. Lower down a little bit. We picked him all the way up, and you can see the sling did not ride up at all. So let's come out a little bit, Susan, because there we go. We can get a better position here. As a therapist, I can come around. I also want you to notice on the Easy Way, Smart Stand, it's the only powered stand aid that I know of that has this weight bearing right by our hips, which is really a nice feature for us as therapists. If Tim falls here, right, that's what a fall looks like. The sling is not going to ride up. He's safe. I don't have to pick him up. I don't have to hold him up. I can be cueing him. I can be working with him from here. We're going to walk over and we're going to have a seat in that chair. So again, a powered stand aid can be active or passive according to what the patient wants or what they're able to do. And choose one that the foot plate comes off of. It's going to be much more versatile. So we're going to leave Tim up here for a little while. This now marks the transition from ICU to acute care. And we want to be prepared for Tim going back to bed. So I want to draw your attention now to the Umano bed that you see over here. This is the Umano all bed, and Jay, I'll have you come in here and just prepare it, because remember Tim is 6'3", 350 pounds. We want to be able to expand the length of the bed and the width of the bed. And one of the nice things about the Umano bed that we like is it expands in every direction. It's also the lowest acute care bed. So if you've got somebody who gets confused at night or sundowners, this is a really good low surface for them. And just with the crank of the bed, the mattress will fill in this space. So you don't need to go and get extra bolsters. You can see all Jay's doing is turning the lever, and it's going to inflate the bolsters into the full width of the bed. The nice thing about this is if you've got a patient who's bariatric and they need to go off unit for anything else, through doorways, anywhere where you would want the narrow bed, traditionally you have to transfer them onto a gurney. You can just collapse this bed, and it's bariatric, it's also regular size. The other thing that we really like about the Umano bed is it will measure in bed and out of bed time. So all of these devices you see, from the Vital Go being able to measure the weight bearing and the angle, the Easy Way full body lift and the floor-based lift, they monitor use. So we know how much they're being used. And the Umano bed will monitor in bed time, out of bed time, which is a really great metric for us in our early mobility programs. All right, let's say that Tim is ready to go back to bed and he's super weak. So the nurse is coming into the room. The nurse is like, where is therapy now when I need to get my patient back to bed? So imagine Tim is in a jerry chair or in a large chair and he's filling it. It's very hard to get the sling in behind him. This is a frustration point. But when you use the Patran, you can put the Patran behind the patient. We can just slide that sling right down between the two, even if the patient cannot help us at all. Can you hold these for us?
Great.
So what we're going to show you here, and again, you're seeing the Umano bed is filling up. It's going to be ready for us by the time we're ready to go into it. We're going to give ourselves a little extra spot.
You're going to pull that.
All right. We want to give ourselves as much length from the legs as we can. All right, we'll bring the lift in. So rather than just passively lifting Tim up, we want to do a little technique we're going to call the boot scoop. Okay, stop there. That's good. Then you're bringing me around. Around, and if I fall, I'm safe. And come up here, sit, come back here. Yep, good. Thank you. There we go. All right, Tim, I want you to bring your own legs. Can you bring your own legs? Walk up onto the bed for us. Okay, lower the sling down a little, Susan. And we're going to, even in a seated sling, have him do some work. Bring your legs to this side for me. And go back to the middle. Push yourself up in the bed. Pull yourself down. So even with a dependent sling, we can still make our patient do some work. Let's lower him all the way down. Do we have a pillow? All right, so let's take this lift away. So he's been in bed for a little while. And again, we're just leaving this all on because we're going to be using the other devices again, just to show you all the ways the equipment can work together. You probably want that head of bed up a little bit. He's had his rest for a little while, but now guess what? We're going to get up. We're going to get up and do some more therapy. I go into the room. Let's get the non-powered stand-in. Hey, Tim, are you ready for your therapy? You can't wait to pee, you're bursting. All right. You got to go pee, huh? So Tim has urgency issues. Right now, I don't need to put my therapy on hold. We're going to use a non-powered stand-aid because you're a little stronger. Go ahead and sit yourself up. Remember when we used this stand-aid before, Tim? All right. Yep, let's bring you here. Go ahead and stand yourself up. Flap your own flaps down, sir. Good. Okay. You no longer have the Foley because you're going to go to the bathroom. So we've got the Foley out. All right. Let's bring you to the bathroom here. If the patient's able to stand, we can have them stand, but they definitely can stand up and bring the flaps out behind them. They have the pins, yep, here. All right, same on this side, Tim. Can you pull the flap out? Even just that little bit of a turn is still therapy. Go ahead and come on down, right? He's been to the bathroom. I can take this away now. So there may be urgency. I might use a stand-aid to get him to the bathroom, but for my therapy, I want him to walk back. Now he's no longer got a full bladder, so we're going to get the full body lift one more time, and we're going to switch now to gait re-education. So same sling, the Mobility Coach Pro is you can use it with all the devices that are loop style hanger bars. You got that there? Is it good? Yep. Can you reach that up and over, Tim? All right. Let's go ahead and raise it up. All right. So I'm going to still be here. Go ahead and try and stand up, Tim. Raise it. Keep raising it. Keep raising it. Keep raising it. You can give him a little bit more support here if we need to. Actually, we're going to want to get that hanger bar away from his head. So you'll see that I can adjust this in real time at the shoulders. I don't need to put different colors on here. This will fit a 4-year-old little girl, little boy, and all the way up to 400 pounds. All right, Tim, go ahead and fall here. Right, so he's safe. I can really get him working on gait. So let's bring this back a little bit. I can work on reactive balance. Keep your balance, Tim. Keep your balance. I can work on gait speed. I can make him do a lot more activity. And I'm also going to show you one more way that we're going to use the Patron. Again, there's over 100 uses that we can do with this simple friction reducing device. Go ahead and step on it, Tim. All right. So reactive balance, we do not do nearly enough reactive balance. We can also make things fun in acute care, right? I'm going to just test your balance a little bit, Tim. Let's bring this up a little bit more, Susan. Okay, good. All right, how are you doing? Check over there. Check out your wife over there, right? Oh, try and catch it, right? I want you to take a step. Same thing again. This time when you lose your balance, I want you to take a step. You ready? Okay, nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. Good. Same again. Go back. Right? We can check it any which way we want to. So whether you are fully dependent in an ICU bed, you're in a coma, we have tools to be able to be safe waking you up, safe getting you up, standing you up, in bed verticalization and weight bearing, out of bed mobility, pre-gait, gait, sit to stand. The tools that we have help us do earlier, more frequent throughout the day, building mobility into daily care rather than a one-time event that's done in addition to everything else. We mobilize as we are going through the daily care for our patient. Please make sure that you check out each of the individual equipment companies that we have. They have a lot more to share with you than what we were able to share here. And then earlymobility.com is a company that helps you implement your program. We're your coach. We're that cheerleader for you. We're going to help you implement, overcome your barriers, get to the outcomes, implementation, and sustainability that you're looking for. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to furthering the conversations with you. Thank you.